Hello, I'm Augusta Scattergood. Thank you for listening to an early passage of my new middle grade novel, The Way to Stay in Destiny. My first novel, Glory Be, was set in Mississippi, where I grew up. So much of it was familiar. Writing about Mississippi was like writing about home. 7 years ago, we moved to Florida, and I realized a lot of my friends and family assumed every part of the state held a little bit of Disney World. But some of Florida is small towns and fishermen, people who've lived here forever. That's when I began exploring and writing this book. I decided to set my novel in a place that's been around for a long time, one that feels like home, not like a vacation. Right near where I live is the delightful little town of Dunedin, home to spring training baseball games, old houses, close to the Gulf of Mexico. As I walked around Dunedin and another neighboring town, Pascagoula, I began to see my imagined town of Destiny, Florida. In The Way to Stay in Destiny, the time is the spring of 1974, right after Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's batting record. Baseball-loving, piano-playing sixth grader Theo Thomas has moved to Miss Sister's rest-easy rooming house and dance studio with an uncle he hardly knows. Neither he nor his uncle, a Vietnam veteran who carries the scars of that war, is happy about this. And then Theo discovers something he never expected to find at Miss Sister's. In this selection, he and his uncle have recently left the Kentucky farm where Theo has always lived. They have just arrived at the rest-easy rooming house. When he tiptoes downstairs to the dance studio, he discovers Miss Sister's piano. Although this is fiction, the character of Miss Sister Grandersoul was based on the much-loved dance teachers in the small town where I grew up, including one everybody called Sister. Of course, Hank Aaron is a real baseball player, but most of the characters come from my imagination. I hope you enjoy The Way to Stay in Destiny. Here's an early passage from the book. Exactly 2 weeks ago, May 3rd, 1974, I was playing Happy Birthday to my grandmother on our rickety living room piano. By then, she didn't remember much, but she sang all the words to that song. And while I was trying to act like it was fine and dandy that my uncle was dragging me away, Granddaddy was bawling his eyes out. That was the last time I touched a piano key. My grandparents' farm sold. The old piano went wherever the furniture ended up. And me, Theo M. Thomas, previously destined to be a famous musician or maybe a big leaguer, I packed my entire life in a suitcase and a knapsack and pretended the uncle I'd never laid eyes on wasn't swearing we'd never set foot in Kentucky again. Hearing the music drift up the stairs, I grabbed the hall banister tight. Every single note waltzes straight to my insides and makes me want to play along. Okay, so I've left behind my friends, my grandparents, and the farm I've lived on pretty much all my life. My new room's above a tap dance studio and next door to a 5-year-old pain in the butt. What's worse, an uncle I hardly know speaks to me mostly when he's barking out orders. But before tiptoeing back down the dark hall, I've decided there's one good thing about being hauled off to Destiny, Florida. Tomorrow, I'll find that piano. The next morning, before the first ray of sunlight beams through the bedroom curtains, I slide my feet out of the covers and inch across the floor. I stumble over dirty high tops, exactly where I kicked them last night. When Uncle Raymond rolls over, snoring like a freight train, I slip my shorts on. Grabbing my T-shirt off the chair, I creep down the hall. Downstairs, a door that was shut last night is still closed. But the glass doorknob turns pretty easy. 2 deep breaths, step inside, shut the door real quiet. Wow! I'm looking at the biggest, shiniest piano, smooth and silent in the back of the room. No furniture except a couple of folding chairs in the corner. Mirrors everywhere. This must be the dance studio. Sitting on the bench, I open up the piano and run my hands up the keyboard. Oh man, every note's perfect. Turning from side to side, I wink at the zillion faces staring back from the mirrors lining the walls. faces with dark brown eyes and curly brown hair, all mine. "Hey, you! Wearing a silver sequined suit like that Elvis guy. Girls swooning. Theo Thomas, piano player to the stars. Theo, baby, what you gonna play for us today?" Who's stopping me? I tap another white key, real quiet. Then a black one. I make up a melody on the high notes, soft and slow. I play it again, faster. While the music's in my head, I forget the room, the day, even my uncle. I'm so busy dreaming up melodies, I'm lost inside the big piano.